This screencast is Chapter 4, Part 8, which is reviewing solving absolute value equations. So we're going to take a look at number 115. We have 2 times the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 3. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this absolute value of x is isolated. And as you can see right now, we're multiplying by 2 and we're subtracting 5. So we are going to start by adding 5 to both sides. So we want to get that absolute value of x alone. So 2 times absolute value of x is now equal to 8. It's still not by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 2. So now absolute value of x is equal to 4. So once this is isolated, we can now break it down into the 2 equations. So x is going to be equal to 4, and then x is going to be equal to negative 4. So you always change that sign of the second one. And since x is by itself, that is it. So either x is going to be 4, and if you go back and plug it back in here, that would be 2 times absolute value of 4, which is going to be 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 minus 5 equals 3. If we plug in negative 4, 2 times absolute value of negative 4 minus 5 is still going to be 2 times 4 minus 5, which is 8 minus 5, which is 3. The second problem we're looking at is 119, and we want to make sure that that absolute value is isolated. So we are going to start by adding 23 to both sides. So we're going to chip away at this so that the absolute value of x minus 10 is alone. And remember, do not distribute inside the absolute value. So we are now going to divide everything by 4. So those 4s are going to cancel each other out. So we have absolute value of x minus 10 is now equal to 15. 60 divided by 4. So now that the absolute value is by itself, we are going to break it into the 2 equations. So x minus 10 is equal to 15, and then x minus 10 is equal to negative 15. So we are going to solve for x, so we'll add 10 to both sides to get x is equal to 25, and then we'll add 10 over here to both sides to get x is equal to negative 5. So x equals negative 5 and x equals 25. And it's always a good idea to go back and check to make sure that it does work out for both of those. So this is an extra example. This is not in the note packet. But say we have the absolute value of x minus 5 equals negative 2. Now, before you do anything, if you have an absolute value that is equal to a negative number, this is not possible. So think about what absolute value means. It is the distance from any number to 0. And remember, we can never have a negative absolute value. So the fact that this is negative and this is absolute value, it is not possible. So many times people try to solve it and then they'll run into a problem. But if you can identify that the absolute value in this example is saying it's equal to negative 2, that cannot happen.